Today, we delve into the heart of Kenya's future, its education system. Kenya's education system, offering primary and secondary free education, is at a critical juncture. This feature will explore whether these challenges means Kenya is failing its future, incorporating voices from students, educators, and experts to provide a comprehensive view. Let's start with the students, the ones who bear the impact of these challenges. The reality for many students in Kenya is bare. With schools struggling to cope with insufficient resources, the quality of education is compromised.
One of the problems we are facing here at school is we have very unreliable Wi-Fi. We find some lecturers actually have their classes at 7 a.m. They want it to run for almost 4 hours and actually don't have a strong Wi-Fi. So that's one of the problems we are facing. Another problem is you find that some lecturers, their classes start at 7 a.m., which is very difficult for some of the students because most of us actually commute from home, and also we don't have that fare to come at that early, 7 a.m. So they should also look at that.
There's a lot of challenges in school. It is, let's just say, the Wi-Fi in the schools. There is a low connectivity, so some students who are not able to buy their own data go through a lot of challenges. Classes, maybe the minimal classes in the school, in availability of simple things like lockers, you see?
Next, we turn to the teachers, the unsung heroes trying to make a difference despite the odds.
How I'll rate the schools in the city and in the rural. Okay, I've also taught a bit in the rural, but that was the 844 system. And in the rural, we have a bit of challenge because in the CBC we have so many modern things that are being given as example in the textbooks. You find that some rurals, mtoto ajayo na fridge, and you're talking about refrigerator in science. So it's a bit of challenge, especially maybe kwenye bado pia stima hazijafika, and they need to have computer science as a lesson. So you find that they're not able to get, or they're not equipped with the items that they're supposed to learn.
Teacher shortages and systemic inequality, particularly in rural and slum regions, worsen the problem. The teacher shortage is acute, with some schools reporting ratios as high as 77 students per teacher. This not only affects teaching quality, but also the morale for the educators.
Currently where I'm teaching is we have less teachers, and when we have less teachers, you find that, like me, when it comes to public, you'll find that in a class of maybe, like, let's say grade 7, we have 5 streams and each class have 100 learners. So if you look at how the learners are learning, actually I was having a class just the other day with my students and other school students, and they came with their science papers we revised because I'm a science teacher, and you could see that the other school, it is the learners marking for themselves the exam, and then the teacher goes and verify whether whatever the learners marked, it is correct. But I wonder, does the teacher, then I asked the learner, how many are you in the class? She told me that there are 120 learners. That is one class out of 5 streams. That is in a public school. So the teacher has to go through 100 papers to check whether kuna mtoto alimark na kwa anastahili kumark. And I think the way I normally see, I think somehow it is impossible for those teachers to just sit down and just go through 100 papers. Na pengine hiyo ni science tu, achukue papers zingine go through and they're going to revise.
But perhaps the most telling perspectives comes for those who are passed through the system and are now struggling to find their place in the job market. Many graduates find themselves underemployed or unemployed, highlighting a systemic failure to align education with the market needs.
Right now, I'm teaching basic computer, and I'm also identifying talents, be it graphic, because in web design you must start from graphic. So I identify talents and train kids on artwork, basically starting from Paint to Microsoft Office Word to Photoshop, and one or two to Illustrator. I'm also identifying talents in coding. We are starting with HTML for static websites, because that is what you can do at this level. You cannot introduce a learner at JSS or maybe primary to maybe Joomla or maybe Python. You must start from the very basic. So I teach basic computer, but I also identify professional areas. I lead them to their careers in future.
Let's continue with these conversations and seek solutions to these pressing issues. For now, this is Kiaria Collins, signing off.